for the few that have actually read any terms and conditions. What sneaky things have you found? Thank you customer for actually reading our terms and conditions. Send us an email with the following content and we will send you a free box of chocolates. They did indeed send chocolate. If you make money on TikTok, the owners can rightfully take the money. They can also use your videos in their advertisements without your permission, even if the videos are private. Cody Ko had to deal with this. Hippity hoppity, your TikTok is my property. Sony can sue you for literally not updating your console software if you're connected to internet. What? Probably to go after people who jailbreak if they decided to care at some point. I don't know if they changed it, but when you chose the fragile option in a mail system like FedEx, that didn't mean they would take special care of it, but that you admitted that it was fragile and therefore it could be broken without being their fault, leaving you unable to sue them for breaking your package or to ask any reimbursement. And of course, if you don't mark it as fragile and it breaks, it's still your fault for not letting them know that they should take extra care of it. What a joke. If you want to take Huawei to court, you have to take them to court in China. What they don't tell you is that it's near impossible for a foreigner to win a court case in China. That's typical of Chinese business. It's like how they will ignore all of your copyrights and patents, but if you infringe on this they will literally bring you down with lawsuits to the point that you may as well not exist. That is one of many reasons that I'm a scared Australian who is slowly having the land around them and all of our farms and other assets purchased by China. Edit. I don't know how China ignores our parents. Also, who is China's parents? On Amazon, anytime they want they can take away from me the books that I've bought on Kindle Store. It's the same with Steam games, but I hope that everyone who uses Steam was already aware of this. Edit. Since this is gaining traction, here's a specific line. The content and services are licensed, not sold. Your license confers no title or ownership in the content and services. This line isn't in the agreement to bully people, because that would cost them their platform really quickly. It's in there in case they shut down or decide to ban you. But it's still in there. You don't own your Steam library. Gamma Station once made an immortal soul clause on April Fool's Day to prove that no one actually reads the terms and conditions. It read, by placing an order via this website on the first day of the 4th month of the year 2010 Anno Domini, you agree to grant us a non-transferable option to claim, for now and forevermore, your immortal soul. Found this quite a few years ago on Chive. Anyone submitting photos to us also agrees to name their firstborn son or daughter Leo and secondborn child John. If you stop reproducing after the first child, you must agree to acquire a panda bear from China and name it John. Resignation Media not only owns the rights to any photos you upload, but also owns the rights to your mom. Should we wish to exercise this option, you agree to surrender your mom and any claims you or your family may have on her within 5 working days of receiving written notification from Resignation Media. In the event your dad or your mom's parent or parents intervene and claim joint ownership of your mom, Resignation Media reserves the right to bitch slap them and give all parties Justin Bieber haircuts. If, upon receiving your mom, she attempts to leave the Chive's kitchen, where she belongs, she too will be given a Justin Bieber haircut. WhatsApp, when it went full Facebook 4 years after purchase, sent out an Android update. The update said it was just adding the ability to give group chats as subheading. What it was actually doing was giving Facebook permission to take information. This option was enabled by default. Of course it was, and you had only 3 months to notice this had happened before the option to opt out was disabled. I was late noticing this, but when I read the terms and conditions, the last line said something along the lines of, even if you opt out, Facebook and the Facebook family of companies will still take the data for training purposes. I hadn't deleted my account. They probably had my info by that point, but duck that shit. Installed Signal. I had a Victoria's Secret coupon that said Canadians are required to pass a math question or test in order to be eligible for the discount. I think I still have it at my desk. My job, in part, is writing terms and conditions, agreements, and disclosures for the bank I work at, so I actually do read a lot of T&Cs in homage to the amount of time my colleagues in the field put into writing 18 pages of shit no one but examiners read. The Canadian math requirement is the strangest I've ever seen. That's actually required of them by Canadian law, which does not allow any gaming or lotteries that are not officially sanctioned. It's just a technicality. So if you answer the question correctly, you haven't won a gamble, you've earned the reward. In the hiring contract for the last company I worked for, there was a line buried on page like 22 that said, if you email a certain email address on your first day saying you saw the line, you'd get a bonus day of PTO for the year. Did you get the bonus day? Nope lol. Why not? Cause I didn't read it. Back in the day when people legally acquired new music by buying CDs, one of the bands I listened to would hide nice little messages to fans in the copyright/legal fine print in the booklet that came with the CD. Sometimes there would be a small link to a hidden part of their website that had extra content. There was a story contest from a theme park where your story could be published. But any story submitted would automatically be owned by the company and could not be used by you or others. So they could throw your story in the trash and you still wouldn't legally own it anymore and can't publish it somewhere else. They own your story, so they can make money out of it without paying you a dime. They were not obligated to credit you as the writer other than mentioning it somewhere in the first publishing. After that it was fair game. They were allowed to alter your story as they saw fit without consulting you. I wasn't the only one who noticed. It was soon pointed out on social media. There wasn't really a backlash, but I didn't submit a story. Amazon's or service terms contain a clause pertaining to a zombie apocalypse. No, really. However, this restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence, certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body, of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain, or nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization. A while ago, 2011, there was a scam work from home service widely advertised all over Facebook and other places, promising enormous paychecks and a free trial. It was an opt-out subscription service as you might expect. Curious as to how the scam worked, I looked at their T&Cs. There was a clause in there requiring you to pay $10,000 in compensation to the company if you filed a chargeback against their fees. Whilst that would never stand up in court, dealing with debt collectors who might conveniently offer to settle for a mere $3,000 would be all sorts of hell. I can't remember the app, it was many moons ago I saw this, but it was supposed to be geared toward aspiring photographers and giving them exposure, and you could rate other photos and do challenges. Essentially the 2S said that anything you post is now their property that they can use for whatever they want, including making money off of it. 500px, maybe? It was 500px. I remember the backlash. I remember a story years ago about this guy applying for a loan or credit card from his bank, but asked to take the documents home and read over them and send them back a signed copy. He added clauses in the T&Cs that the bank had to pay him, and if they wanted out of the contract they had to pay him some huge exit fee, sign the amended one, and send it back to them, and they agreed to it without reading it. Not sure how true it is though. At a gun range one time I saw that if I yelled out I love dogs, my time and anything I buy is half price. I immediately did so, startling my best friend. That was awesome. The contract to a job I had working in the desert warned about the frequency of alien attacks. I was disappointed to go a year and a half without any, though. I didn't read this on the 2S, but learned about it. Amazon apparently asked its users, do you want your voice data to be used for improving our future services? You'd think replying no would stop the transfer of voice data. No, it would only not be used for improving future services. They'd still be able to do with it whatever they were doing till date. Isn't this required so that they can translate the audio into text? Alexa doesn't process the speech locally, right? If your Echo didn't send your voice data to Amazon's servers, it wouldn't work at all. This feels like it should be obvious. As someone who had to get a privacy policy and read the thing, as far as I know I'm not allowed to use my own service. According to the legal agreement I got with myself and agreed to, in case I do know, that I access the service against what's written in the privacy policy. I should contact myself by email letting me know that, so I can erase any private data I got on myself. If I refuse to erase the data, I think I can sue myself. Send help. Buying my first car at a dealership too close to a naval base. Never bought a car before. Had no idea what to do. Monthly payment is $250. That sounds sensible. Sat down and read the contract, much to the chagrin of the sales guy. Interest rate was 18%. I knew enough to walk away. Never buy cars within an hour of military base. Honestly, 18% might have been on the lower end of what they'll charge sometimes. IDK if this is super surprising, but I read the entire lease for my first apartment and apparently I couldn't get out of my lease even if I died. Might be so they have a claim against your estate for the remainder of the rent for the year.